Hi, I'm Giulia Dore from the University of Trento and Recreating Europe. Today I'll be presenting the results of the GLAM survey. We launched it in September and was online until January on the impact of copyright law and open policies in relation to digitization in the GLAM sector. Most of the responses we got were from libraries, so close to them. And in most cases, organizations were public or no-profit. The objective of our survey was to determine whether copyright law is a barrier to the fullest development of digitization, but also to see whether organizations are taking advantage of the open policies in this specific field. So nearly 90% of them digitize. They do it in-house, they do it outsourcing this service. And not all of them seek for the copyright holder permission, which means that they might hold the rights in the resources, or they might not. This should be assessed through the interviews that we are also running. But most of them believe they own some rights in their collection. And only few rely on the copyright exceptions. Looking at the obstacles they perceive to digitization, to some extent, surprisingly, copyright was not really perceived as the main obstacle to digitization. Main barriers are lack of personnel, lack of financial resources. This might be due to the fact that organizations that were the main respondents are mid to big organizations. So in this case, they might have a better knowledge of the law and also have legal advice in-house, which might explain this surprisingly result. In some cases, they are, and this is interesting, also unsure whether they have cleared the rights or not. But in most cases, they will use licensing and often open license. In terms of copyright awareness, they mostly know the basics of copyright, and in particularly with regard to national copyright law, but only half knew about the new European Copyright Directive, but nearly 80% know about open policies, and a large number of them has open policies at institutional level. In terms of training, only few are legally trained, but many of them would like to be trained, especially in areas that are very specific, such as authorship and ownership of rights. I said that they pretty much rely on licensing, and these resources will go mainly in the public domain, but there is still a large percentage of resources that will not go into the public domain. In terms of use and possibilities to reuse such resources, in most cases there are limitations. So limitations are imposed. Reproduction, for instance, is limited. It is also limited communication to the public, and also the possibility of modifying the resource, so making derivative works. So to conclude, digitization, it really is a critical issue in the GLAM sector. There might be some areas where the law should be reformed, and this is why we wanted to know more about how organizations perceive copyright in this regard. Organizations, as I say, do not rely too much on the copyright exception, and this is also something we would like to explore with a lot of other aspects during the follow-up interviews that we are conducting. So in case you want to be interviewed, please reach out. Thank you.